What's up, everyone? Welcome to Mom's Basement MMA. My name is Tyler, and I have a special guest joining me today. He's a PFL lightweight contender in the 2024 regular season. His name's Mr. Solomon Renfro. He's my friend. He's been with me since the very beginning. Saul, welcome back to the program. We haven't done one of these in like a year, man.
Yeah, what's up, man? Happy to be back. Day one, A1. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you as well, Solomon. I know we got a big fight coming up on June 21st, but we got a lot to catch up on. And the very first thing I think of when I think of you, make it into the PFL, and your very first fight was a tough one. You fought Jarrah Al-Silawi, and for people who don't know, that guy is like MMA Michael Jordan in the Middle East. Like that was a really tough fight for you to take, and you ended up knocking him out. And I was just curious, like that is like one of the most impressive wins on your entire combat sports career to date. Talk to me about how you got the knockout against Jarrah. I know we're going back a little bit, but it was a significant victory.
It's actually crazy because I was in New York City and I was actually promoting, like as my side gig, I was party promoting. I was working with like Tile Group and stuff. And I'm out a lot, but I was working. Everyone think I'm just partying, I'm not fighting, but I was still training every day, twice a day. I work at night, and that's my job, is to promote the party, so I have to post it on my own page, you know? And I was getting to a point where I'm like, man, it's tough to get fights. And I was just like really struggling in New York fight-wise. And my friend Pat Mix had just won the $1 million tournament. He FaceTimes me right after the tournament. He says, bro, you got to get here. You're just as good as me. You got to get out to Vegas. That's what the problem is. You're not in Vegas. You don't have as many opportunities. You got to get out here, right? I jump on a plane. I come to Vegas, and I'm out here. I think, man, I came out here like the end of April, early May last year. By like mid-June, I had got signed to PFL. Not even mid-June, like June, like maybe 15th, I got signed to PFL. And then right after that, 6 days notice, I had to fight Jarrah Al-Silawi because I was trying to sign up as an alternate. And like, you know, that was going to get paid to be an alternate. And what it was I had PFL or Contender Series. And it was like, I went the Contender Series route before. I remember what happened, and I wasn't necessarily sure I wanted to do that again. PFL was like, hey, here's some guaranteed money, and we'll get you, we'll get you a fight after you the alternate spot. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll take that, make the weight, get that paid, and then fight at 55 after that. Didn't happen like that. I took the alternate spot, and then a guy actually dropped out. And hey, now it's time to put a bruschetta up. Let's see if you can really fight, kid. They threw me right in there with one of the top dogs, and I was able to perform. Thank God. It was cool though. But I got signed, and then I actually lost my phone in Las Vegas. So then I lost my phone. And I had to buy like a burner phone, and I finally turned the burner phone on, and I see it just blowing up. I'm like, what? What's happening? My manager's been calling me and stuff, and now I got to fight Jarrah Al-Silawi on 6 days notice. And it's just like, hey, man, time to put a bruschetta up, So I hopped out there, got out there, and I was able to perform, did my thing. God is great.
Solomon, it was a very impressive performance, and it wasn't that long ago. We're talking about less than a year. You went ahead and accomplished that and got a highlight reel knockout. Since the Al-Silawi fight to like present, obviously we know what the type of competition you've been going up against. You fought the eventual 170-pound champion in Magomed Kirmov, and then you fought Gadzi Rabadanov, who's like a beast. Like a lot of people are struggling with that guy. That guy's really good. Like, tell me like kind of where you're at this point in your career after going up against two really solid contenders that you've just faced.
At this point, I know I'm at the level. I always said I was at the level, but I really wasn't sure until I actually fought Jarrah. And then when I fought Magomed Kirmov, I knew Magomed was the number one guy in PFL, honestly, in PFL history. The number one guy, and I fought him on 12 days notice also. So I fought Jarrah on 6 days notice, and I had to fight Magomed on 12 days notice, back to back at 170 when I was working on cutting to 55, so I was actually very smaller. But, God willing, I was able to perform. The thing with Magomed Kirmov is I think I fought a little bit too gun shy early on. I feel like if I hadn't let my hands go a little bit sooner, I might have got him out of there, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. But fighting Magomed really let me know that I am what I say I am. I believed it, but being able to go out there and compete at that level, also on 12 days notice without really having preparation, man, it's a dream come true. And to do it in New York City at MSG, only thing that would have been better if I would have freaking knocked him out, But I was able to take him down. He took me down. I was able to get up. I was able to land some good strikes. I wasn't surprised with my performance. I was actually a little disappointed in myself afterwards because I feel like after the first round, I was like, or actually halfway through that fight, I was like, okay, I can really fight this guy. And I didn't really start fighting until halfway through the second round, you know, like really started trying to like win. Before, I kind of felt like I was fighting to see what I could do, and I was like feigning, like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Thinking a little too much, like fighting behind half speed. After that, you know, after maybe like 7 minutes into the fight, I was like, okay, I'm here. Let's just scrap. And you know, obviously, I started doing much better at that point. But yeah, that's what happened. Then I ended up fighting obviously Gaji next in the PFL tournament. And you know, it was a great fight. It was a great fight. He's a great competitor. I think he was ranked number 5 in Bellator rankings before we actually fought. So that's crazy just to be signed in. This is technically actually my rookie year now. It's technically my first time actually having notice for a fight. And I fought Gaji, my first time fighting at 155. I fought the number 5 guy in Bellator lightweight. So, you know what I mean? Number 5 guy, my first time being a lightweight. So I'm disappointed in the performance just because he was able to get that body triangle and you know, secure the position for like the last like 3.5 minutes of the fight. But first round, I feel like I smoked him. Second round was third round, you know, he got the takedown. But I feel like that fight honestly could have went either way. Me judging, obviously I'm going to be biased, but I thought damage was the main criteria. If we're talking about damage, I mean, 3 more shots, his eye would have fell out his fucking face, you know? But it is what it is. He was able to hold me down. Didn't do anything. I wouldn't even say necessarily hold me down like he was on top of me, but he got the body triangle, was able to hold position. Hats off to him, he was. Next time we go against each other, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm going to fucking punch his face in. Still, all respect to those guys.
Solomon, now we're at a new weight class, the lightweight division, and you know, me and a few other people in the media, when we were talking about the 2023 PFL season, then kind of going into 2024, we were talking about you. We're like, man, I wonder if he's going to go to 170 again, stay there and compete, or maybe go down to 55. And I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he went down to 55. Now he didn't tell me any of that, but I bet you he's going to try. And then there was a big debate. Like, bro, he can't make 55. I'm like, I bet you he can. And here we are in a new weight class. Like, that's a tough cut though for somebody with your body type. Like, you're a really muscular dude, not a lot on you to cut. Like, you're walking into the cage with abs at welterweight. Can you tell me a little bit, like, what made you go all in on 155, and how hard was it for you to make that weight? Because for a guy like you, that's got to be difficult to do.
Yeah, at first it was tough. I mean, I was doubting myself. I was hearing I should be a 55er for years, to be honest. Every time I met other UFC or top caliber 55ers, they'd always tell me, like, yeah, you're a 55er, man. Like, you got power like a welterweight, maybe even a middleweight. But your size your frame is like a 55 frame, you know? And even my boy Pat Mix, who I always tend to mention, he would always tell me from day one, even when I was an amateur, like, bro, you're going to be a 55er one day. Like, you're not. I fought at 85 as an amateur. I even fought at 85 as a pro at some fights. You know, he was always telling me, like, you want to optimize your career, you need to be at 155. And looking back on it, hindsight 2020, you know, he was right. Everyone else was right. I feel like had I been 55, you know, I might be fucking 20-1 right now, or 20-0. But it is what it is. You live and learn. This is my path, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm going to do the best I can do, and eventually become very, very dominant in this weight class. I feel like that starts on June 21st. I mean, up next, I'm fighting Brent Primus. My second fight at 155, I'm fighting a freaking former Bellator world champion, a guy who actually beat Michael Chandler, who's about to fight Conor McGregor. And Michael Chandler beats Conor McGregor. I knock out Brent Primus. I mean, you don't do MMA math here, but I'm just saying, man, my first time, this is my second fight at 55 within, like, 3 months, you know? I'm fighting the freaking former Bellator world champion. I'm just got thrown in there with the top dogs. Let you know, though, I'm also a top dog, like I've been saying from day one. So I'm ready to perform. I'm ready to rock. How do I feel about the weight cut? It was tough. Going into that first fight, I'm not going to lie, I was very nervous if I would even make the weight. That was my main concern. Like, am I going to make the weight? Am I going to make the weight? Am I going to make the weight? Let alone, you know, fighting another top competitor in the division immediately. It was more so me just focusing on making the weight. Now I know I can make the weight. The weight cut was actually very, very smooth. I was disciplined. I did it correct. Even right now, you know, I'm locked in. I'm eating blueberries. It's my favorite snack when I'm eating blueberries on a regular. I just got out of practice over here at Extreme Couture. I'm in beautiful Las Vegas right now, and everything's starting to really come together for me.
Can you tell me, Solomon, a little bit more about Extreme Couture MMA? Now, obviously, There are a lot of prolific fighters that train out of there, but in your case, Sadibou Sy is also based out of there, and he was the welterweight champion once upon a time. I'm sure that's a guy that you could probably pick his brain.
All
He's
the
been
time.
there, and he's done that. Like when you talk with him, like what are some of the? Can you share with me, like what are some of the things that he's told you about, like taking care of yourself, preparing yourself, and like doing what it takes to be a PFL champion?
I'll tell you this: when Sadibou Sy was fighting at 170, now he's fighting at 205. Crazy, he jumped 2 weight classes. He was fighting at 170. Every day after practice, he was on the treadmill for 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes, every single day after practice, no matter what. Every day, he was so skinny. He was putting in so much work. He was just telling me, man, like earlier in his career, he struggled, with the weight, with certain decisions, but he just kept on keeping on, and then eventually it paid off. He just told me the same thing. He was like, man, you're much further in your career at your age than I ever was at my age, and just keep on keeping on. Trust the process. You're really, really good. You're actually right there. We all believe in you, so just keep going. Some other advice he gives me is also just always be myself. So him and everybody at Extreme Couture, actually, as soon as I came in, they all just kind of grabbed me and loved up on me. Obviously, Pat Mix is my brother, so I had that, been able to go in there. But they all kind of just grabbed me and loved up on me and say, hey, man, we love you how you are. Be yourself, go fight, and you're going to be great. And that's what's happening.
Solomon, when I think about somebody with your background, your style, your fighting style, what it is that you're known for your hands, and you're known for your knockout power. That's what we all associate you with. But when you're talking about the PFL format, in my opinion, for somebody with your style, it's somewhat of a disadvantage because you're limited in terms of like what you can do in the regular season format. I know I've seen you throw elbows before. That's not allowed. And I would go as far as to say it favors people with more of like a wrestling style approach, a grappling style approach, and people are going to see somebody like you and be like, I'm taking this dude down. I'm not standing with this guy. It just ain't happening. What's your plan to like circumvent that? Because everyone wants to take you down. Tell me about why that's not going to work, especially for this next fight.
It's not going to work because I'm more prepared than ever. I'm just more prepared. Just getting better. The last guy I fought, he shot, I want to say he shot 10 takedowns. I stuffed 9 of them. And the last one, he was able to get secure. But that was just even once he got that takedown, it was just a mishap of me, like really never being in a body triangle and just not knowing. It was like a lack of education, not even that he was necessarily better, just a lack of me knowing what to do in that position. But I don't even care if I get taken down. I'm going to get up, So it is what it is. Let's rock. I'm with the best team in the world right now, or one of the best teams in the world, whatever you want to say. I believe it's the best team in the world. And I'm completely prepared. I'm going with tons of Dagestanian guys on a regular basis, tons of high-level grapplers, guys from 10th Planet, left and right. The cool thing about being in Las Vegas is everywhere you go, there's high-level training. I can go left, I can go right, I can go forward, I can go backwards. There's high-level training every single which way, and it's all day long. I can even technically miss 2 training sessions and still get 2 great training sessions. Like I can just train whenever I want to in Vegas. It's amazing, man. It's a blessing to be here. The competition is awesome. This is the mecca of combat sports. So you can just train here in Vegas and you'll meet all types of high-level competitors coming through in and out of here. Khabib teams coming in and out of here. I got the blessing to work with them. You got Tyson, the guy from I want to say Boston. Who's over there? Calvin Cater, those guys, they come in and out. I get the blessing to work with them. And I still get the opportunity to go back to Tiger Showman's and train with those guys as well. Another great team to train with my boy Shane Burgos all the time, So, I'm just blessed. And obviously, Pat Mix is right there mentoring me along the way. And, man, I couldn't ask for anything more. God is great.
Solomon, your next opponent, Brent Primus. I want you to give me your take on this guy. Like you look at him, 13-3 record. He's been around the block for a long time. He's got quite a bit of experience. Like, what was your reaction when you found out like this is the dude that you were going to be fighting next? And what do you think about what do you think about just this upcoming fight here?
My reaction was what it is right now. A smile. I'm like, hey, let's go. It's the real deal, man. We get the real deal. We get to really see again. You put me up against another former world champion. I think I'm going to go out there and put this guy out. I know I'm going to go out there and put this guy out. I feel like he's a great competitor. I think he's a great man, a great father. I don't know that, but I just see him with his kids and stuff. He seems like a great competitor and even a role model. Brent Primus is a guy I used to watch when I was in high school. I watched him win his first title against Michael Chandler, who actually about to fight Conor McGregor, who might knock Conor McGregor out. If I knock out Brent Primus, now I got to win over the guy who beat Conor McGregor, which is crazy, and it's only my second fight at 55. But Brent Primus is a great competitor, and for me, it's just a chance for me to show my skill set and show how I'm greater than great, like I always said. It's all lining up. I'm ready to rock. It's tough with the PFL format, you know? It's tough with the PFL format. You don't get much time to prepare, kind of thrown on you. And it's also kind of weird because me and Brent Primus shared a locker room in the last fight. They actually took a nap, like, almost right next to each other. And then he even, like, DM'd me after my last fight and said he thought I won. I shook his hand after my last fight and I said, thanks, man, you know? Like, I used to watch you fight. And then the next week or 2 weeks later, boom, we find out we're fighting each other. So that's just how it is, you know? No love lost, but, you know, there will be blood spilled, and that's that.
An early knockout that gives you 5 points and just kind of like right in the mix with everybody else.
Put me in there. I think if I'm doing this correctly, I think it'll put me into the playoffs if I beat Primus in the first or second round.
It would give you 5 points.
It would give me 5 points by the second round. First round would give me 6 points, and then I would maybe we would be tied at like maybe number 4, and then I would have a win over him, so I would still be in there. So I would still be getting into the playoffs. I might end up fighting Dumford or something like that. So obviously, you know, that's the game plan, get a finish in the first or second round. But if not, we're ready for all 3 rounds, obviously. And I can finish them in the third round too. You know, I mean, the main thing for me is to win. I mean, I focus on the PFL format. I would love to get in the playoffs, get that $1 million. The main thing for me is to win, especially at this level and this type of, it's still kind of short notice. This type of short notice fight, you know, the main thing is to go out there and freaking win. Use my whole game of MMA, punching, kicking, knees, grappling, my submission game, my wrestling game. I'm actually, I can do everything. I just need to do everything. I think last fight I was a little bit gun shy because I was my feet were fucked up. A lot of people don't know that. I was doing a lot of kickboxing sparring and I was doing a lot of snap kicks, kicking elbows, and both my feet were kind of fucked. So if you watch the fight, I'm kind of just like standing in one spot, not really moving, just fainting like, all right, you're gonna come here. So I feel like that kind of hindered me a little bit from my movement. But overall, I still think it's a great performance, and it was a good performance. And for this fight, it's going to be a great performance. You know, I can move, I'm slicker, and I'm just getting better. You know, I'm getting better. I'm surrounded by top dogs. The last camp, I was in New York City a lot. I had the pleasure to train at Tiger Strowman's and Culture a little bit, but it was still like I wasn't with like my own team. I wasn't like with my own like schedule. It's a lot different, a lot harder to train in New York City. You got to travel so much. You got to drive like 2 hours in between each training session. It's just a lot rougher. So I just, after that fight, I was like, you know, I saw the minor details that I needed to change. I saw what needed to be changed. I'm like, if I'm really serious about trying to win this $1 million this year, winning this $1 million this year, I need to make a move, and it has to happen now. So I went to New York, packed up all my shit, and bought a hotel room in Vegas, and now I'm here.
June 21st, that is the date for PFL 5 that happens in Salt Lake City. And Solomon, I want to give you kind of like an opportunity, right? Because the PFL is still relatively new to a lot of people. I think more and more people are starting to pay attention. More and more people are starting to kind of like, they're curious, right? Like, well, what is all this thing that they got going on, this $1 million tournament? What is it kind of all about? So it exposes you to like a bunch of people all over the world. I have a global following on this channel now, thank God. And I want you to tell people who've never seen you fight before, people in like Australia, people in Brazil, people in India that they're tuning in right now and watching this interview. What do they need to know about Solomon Renfro? And tell me about what can we expect to see on June 21st.
What you know about me is my goal. It's a big goal. It might seem far away, but I really don't think it's that far away. I feel like one day we'll look back on these interviews and we'll be like, damn, he said that and he really made it happen. My goal is to be one of the greatest athletes, period. Not just fighters, but athletes, period. Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Serena Williams, Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Floyd Mayweather, Solomon Renfro. I want to be in that type of conversation. So that's the goal with this whole endeavor. And looking forward to this fight, you can look for me to go be great. That's it. Go be great. Go impose my game, impose my will on this man, and beat him and get him out of there. That's what I'm coming to do. I'm coming to dominate. I'm coming to dominate every fight. That's the game plan. And win. Do damage. Do lots of damage. Damage is my number one thing. Do damage. Get guys out of there. I think think some fights, especially after that Johnny Parsons fight I had, I started like really like trying to look at the judges and play the game and see how that goes. But man, fuck all that. They don't go out there and try to put these guys the fuck away. And if they somehow survive, they survive. But even the last guy, I don't think he beat me. I think he fucking survived. I think if we locked us in a room and said, you two come out this room, the guy who comes out this room is going to be the winner. You know what I mean? Fight to the death. Whoever comes out, obviously, is the winner. I'm going to come out that room against him, against Magomed Karimov, against fucking Islam Makhachev. You lock me in a room with anybody, and there's no time limit, there's no referees, none of that. Who comes out that room, I believe it's always going to be me. Even the last fight with Gaji Ramadanov, you watched the damage they did to his eye. Like I said, 3 more shots, his eye would have fell out of his fucking face. But somehow I lose that fight. You look at us, if we were in high school and we got in a fight and we went to school the next day, you said who won that fight, you would look at me and be like, yeah, you definitely won that fight. Look at his fucking face. But it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. I just got to go out there and freaking dominate and knock these guys the fuck out. Put hands to face, knock these dudes the fuck out. Simple. But also, I'm ready to take the game everywhere. You know, I'm ready for any and everything. I'm training at 10th Planet when I can go there. Eric Nixon has been putting a great game plan together for me. Training there. Patrick Mix, Kobe Fair has been behind me, helping me just get better, up my grappling game every single day. And man, God is with me. And if God is with me, who can be against me? My hands are already great. And they're already getting better. Now I'm learning these concepts that I never actually knew before. Like some stuff I'm learning in practice, I'm like, wow, why did I not know this? How did I get to this level and not know this? Which just also shows, I believe, how good I really am. Like I'm learning some stuff that everybody else already know that I didn't even know about, like maybe takedown defense. But yeah, I have a very high takedown defense percentage. I mean, Gotti took me down one time. Maga took me down twice. Before that, I had never got taken down before. I've been taken down 3 times in my career. People don't even know that. So now I'm about to fight Brent Primus, who's, okay, yeah, he's a grappler. But listen, man, I've only been taken down 3 times in my career. 3 times. 3 times. So we'll see. We'll see, you know. We'll see when we get in there. I really don't think he's going to be able to take me down, though. And if he does, guess what? I'm going to get the fuck up. I'm going to beat you up on the feet. I'm going to beat you up on the ground if you get me down. If you get me, big if you do get me down. And if you do get me down, guess what? I can fucking grapple too, dog. So we're going to see. That's that.
Solomon, I don't want to like, you know, ask you something you're not comfortable answering, but I will ask you, do you think people sleep on your grappling? Because you're a jiu-jitsu purple belt, as far as I know, and you've choked out people before too. Do you think like people don't respect your game enough in the grappling department? And if somebody takes you down, like you might have a surprise waiting for somebody if the fight goes there?
Definitely sleep on my grappling, but it's also like, if you look at the guys I'm fighting, they've been like grapplers, like the last now 3 guys, Magomed Karimov, Gaji, and now Brent Primus. Their grappling's like they're at like the top level in the world. I'm probably like in that like not the top level, but I'm not like in the like average. I'm far above average, you know. But these guys are like that's their game. It's like if they were to put me in there with like in a boxing ring with them, you would be like, holy shit, these guys can't even strike. You know, if you look at them trying to strike with me, you'd be like, oh, these guys can't strike. So if you look at me potentially trying to grapple with them, you might be like, oh, his grappling's not that great. But you don't realize these guys aren't even really necessarily grappling with me. Like if you watch what Gaji did to everybody else, he takes them down in the first round every time. Almost every time. I don't know if there was a fight that he had like in the past 5 years that he didn't take the guy down in the first round. I'm serious. I stuffed 9 out of 10 takedowns. Like I forced him to stand with me, and I had 2 fucked up feet, and I barely wrestled all camp. That being said, though, you know, I really can grapple. I have great people behind me with my grappling game, so for sure, my grappling game definitely underrated. So yeah, someone shoots at me, they definitely got a surprise for him. It might be a knee, it might be a punch, it might be a fucking guillotine, you know? It might be an Americana. It might be a fucking, you might shoot, I might spall you and hit a reverse triangle on your ass. You don't know what I'm gonna do. Shit, I might pull off rubber guard on Brent Primus. You don't know what I'm gonna fucking do. I might hit that motherfucker with a go plata, omoplata. I know all types of shit, man. But yeah, my grappling is definitely underrated. But I am blessed to be surrounded by some great grapplers and guys always teaching me, guys always pouring into me, and just filling my water well, helping me get better and better and better.
Well, Solomon, I appreciate your time this evening. I know you got a massive fight coming up. I'm looking forward to watching it, but I also know that you know, there are a lot of people that work with you each and every day to make sure that you're taken care of. You have what you need in order to do what it is that you do to compete at this level of MMA. So if there's anyone that you would like to thank or any people that you need to shout out, let's do it.
Yeah, first and foremost, I'd like to thank God. I'd like to thank my managers, first round management. I'd like to thank Coach Eric Nixon, my best friend Patrick Nix, Kobe Fair. Thank my father, Solomon Renfro, and everybody who I've come across in this journey of MMA. My coach Chris Luca, obviously over in New York, and now he's coming out to Vegas when he can. Vastly helped me improve my striking. The guys over at Tiger Showman's, the guys over in Buffalo at WYMMA, everyone who I've met along this journey so far, I want to say thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. And stay tuned for the Renfro show. It's only getting better. One thing I also do want to say is no matter what happens, guys, you guys always believe in yourself, which I'm learning even now. I believe in myself, but I'm not gonna lie, when I fought Magomed, I was nervous as fuck. Damn near scared. Actually, when I fought Jarrah, that was the most scared I've ever been before a fight. I was so nervous before that fight, I didn't know what to do. Like I think I had a good warm up, but I think I had such a good warm up because I was so nervous. I was jumping so much rope backstage, like trying to actually sweat just to kill the anxiety. So it's happening really, really fast, and I'm grateful. And for anybody else that's thinking about embarking on this journey, or is on this journey, or even watching me in my journey, I would just say, man, always believe in yourself, trust in God, and it's gonna work out. You just gotta keep going. Don't quit.
Well, great advice, Saul. I appreciate your time. I look forward to having you back on the People's Show real soon.
People's Show. I love this show.